Alright, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about how I made my custom Audi headlights. So in this video, we basically remove the lens, disassemble the entire headlight, paint everything, put it all back together, and put the lens on. I'm going to have another video that goes more in depth about how I took every little piece apart, how not to break anything when you're taking it apart, because there are some very small plastic pieces in here, and some common failure points about this headlight. We'll talk about some do's and don'ts, and there'll just be a really in-depth video of disassembly and reassembly, so stay tuned for that. But right here we have 2 headlights I bought from Facebook Marketplace and 2 headlights that I got with my car, and between the 4 of them I made 2 good ones, and we'll basically go over every step I took in this video to get it to the point where it looks now. So I tried baking these headlights to get the glue soft enough to remove it, and I had it at 300 degrees. It was in there for a while, things started smoking, and the glue still was as hard as it was when I put it in. Before anyone comes at me, I did try and put them in the oven. I did try and do it the right way. It didn't work out, so now we're going to do it my way. Alright, so for anyone who knows how expensive these headlights are, you're probably wondering, what in the world am I doing cutting into them with a Dremel? So I try to put these headlights in the oven to separate the lens from the housing. Now, whatever type of glue Audi uses doesn't really matter if you heat it up, apparently. You're supposed to put these headlights in the oven, you cook them for about 5 to 10 minutes at 250 degrees, and you should be able to just peel the lens away from the housing. But I had my headlights in the oven at 300 degrees for 40 minutes, and the glue was still as hard as a rock. So obviously that method was not going to work for me. So I decided I was going to cut the skinny piece of plastic that goes all the way around the lens that holds into the housing. I was just going to cut it off, peel the lens away from the housing, then go back around with a X-Acto knife, a razor blade, a heat gun, and a pair of pliers, and basically pull out any of the bits and pieces of plastic and glue from the housing that was left over. So that worked the best for me. As you can see right now, I have my girlfriend heating it as I was cutting it, and eventually I get the pair of pliers out and we peel each piece of plastic out. Then we went back around, peeled all the glue out. It did require a little bit of filing after we were done, just because it kind of left like some marks from us, you know, prying and pulling on stuff, but nothing that would have damaged the headlight. I was able to get everything out. The channel was completely clear of everything. The only downside to this is that you have to buy new lenses. If you cut your lenses off, you have to buy new ones. You could leave the original glue and pieces of the plastic you cut off in the headlight and then attempt to JB weld the headlight lens back on. I didn't do that. I just bought new lenses. I got them for $90 from eBay. It was worth it. They came from China, which is to be a little weary of, but the headlight lenses I got, I had no issues with, besides the fact that one of them cracked in shipping, but that's no fault of the seller. They were good quality plastic. They fit perfect. There wasn't any like big gaps or anything. So I'll link them in the description if you want to buy those for yourself. They worked well for me. I would recommend them to others. And I used those, and I got some butyl headlight sealant from Diode Dynamics, which I'll also link in the description. And between all that stuff, I was able to get the headlight lens back on. It stuck real good. I think I'm still going to JB weld around the outside just to really ensure that the headlight lens is completely sealed and waterproof. But butyl should be all you need to seal the headlight. That's how everyone online says to do it. So, but just for an extra precaution, I am going to JB weld it. But you can make your own decision if you do this type of work. Alright, so now this whole channel is open. There's no more glue or, you know, pieces of the plastic. I mean, there's a couple little pieces, but right now we're going to file this and take it out. The passenger side housing, which is this one, is one of the ones I bought from Facebook Marketplace. This one is the one I got with my car, and the glue in this one was unbelievably strong. I mean, you can see we kind of really mushed the edges of this thing, but this one wasn't too bad. It was a little bit of a struggle, but everything came out. But this one was absolutely insane. I've never seen anything stronger than this. So I think there was something up with the headlights I bought. Maybe someone took them apart in the past and it was different glue they used, because this was definitely factory Audi glue, and oh my god, it was horrible. But there's no way that putting this in the oven and heating it would have done that. Alright, as you can see, we have a lot of little parts out on the floor. These are the headlights that are going to be going on my car. These I'm putting back together and selling. So this is something pretty cool. This is a piece inside the headlight that I put my YouTube on and then clear coated over the vinyl end paint. And I think you should be able to see all the oh yeah, there you go. They're all metallic flake. So in this one, this is metallic flake, and so is this ring here. The rest of it's all gloss black. Then same thing on this side, but I didn't do the YouTube on this side. I just did it on one side. But I got new lenses. Got to sort through the electronics. Got everything laid out right here. I got new DRL tubes because mine were yellowing. Got some headlight sealant. So should be able to put everything together in this video. And I tried frosting the blinker lens and the DRL tubes. I got some semi-transparent paint from Home Depot. So this is the light that we tested everything on. It was a junk headlight, so I just used some spray paint just to see how it'd look. So this is the frosted blinker lens and frosted DRL inside of the headlight. And it looks nice, but as far as function, the way Audi did this, there's one single LED here that shines through all the way to the end of the tube, which you see there's a split and the next one starts, and there's another LED light here that starts from here and goes this way. And it's not like a regular LED where there's light behind this entire thing. So when you frost them, it gets really dim by the time it gets around here. There's a large difference in how bright it is here to here. So I scrapped that idea, although it does look nice when it's off, but when it's on, it looks like something's wrong with it. So we're gonna go with the clear lens, clear DRL. I ordered new ones because mine were starting to yellow down here from heat. And obviously you can see I kind of just wrote in here in paint pen just to get an idea of what we were doing. All right, so we're gonna wipe this down with the fur ball cloth. I'm gonna take any little dirt particles or anything that's in there, and then now that all the fingerprints and anything else are off of it, we're just gonna take a tack rag, and anywhere you're gonna see, we're just gonna wipe this tack rag, and it's gonna pick up any dust or any other things that are gonna be inside the headlight that we don't want in there. We have the brand new DRL tubes, and I'll put a link to this in the description because these were kind of hard to find. They were from China, but I mean, it's just a small piece of plastic. I mean, how much could you really mess up on it?
He melts.
Well, imagine. But I think they'll be okay. They were about, I think, $35 in total shipped. So we're gonna do the same thing when we took it apart. First, we're gonna clean these. They should be perfectly clean, but we're gonna make sure they're clean. Swipe them off real quick. Tack rag. You wanna slide this into here first, let it drop down, and then you wanna kind of tilt it like this, and you're gonna get this tab into this hole, and you kind of push it to where it wants to go. And then this will sneak past that, and just like that, it's clipped in. So now we're gonna do this one. Again, just wipe it off, make sure everything's nice and clean. And now we're gonna lay this next piece in, this next piece. We wanna lay it in here first, kind of get this tab started. So you kind of lay it on the edge like this, get that tab started, and as you push it in, you're gonna push this over and down and kind of just work it into the plastic. You might have to bend it a little bit That's okay as long as you're nice and careful with it. It should just pop in like it just did. All right, so that is the DRL tubes in. So now we're gonna get the next piece. So we're gonna clean the next piece off, wipe it down good, make sure there's no fingerprints. So now we have the DRL lights and the side marker. We're gonna put the side marker in next. You can disconnect this clip. It's a pain in the ass and it's very easy to break. So I prefer just to leave it plugged in, and then we'll clean this, wipe it down. We're gonna clean this all again when we put it back together before we put it in the headlight itself. So we're gonna clip those pieces in. And those are all locked in. And that's all put together now. All right, so now this ring is on this housing. We're gonna take this, and there's a square hole here that this tab is gonna fit into. So you're gonna put this piece down. So it's gonna go right there. It's gonna clip into that. All right, and just like that, we have this top housing on. This just slides into these slots here, and you're gonna pinch like this and just push it, and it'll clip right in. Now that's done, and there's two T20s that go on from the back. All right, so now we have this piece here. There's a tab here, and there's a tab here. There's no lock on this one. This one just slides into place. It goes into this little hole here. So I get this back tab in, I get this tab in. And get that to slide in good. So now you can put the T20 on this corner piece in, and that'll pull all these pieces in together and hold them all in. Don't want to over tighten them, just snug is good, but you don't want them to be loose. All right, so now that we have all this cleaned out, we have this piece in, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's just 5. Maybe there's one behind. Oh, there's this one up here. It's a little sneaky spot that they put it in. So for my case, I'm gonna put a rag down and get a long one in there because it is gonna rub on this. But we're gonna screw them in, and then we'll get the other one going. All right, so we got the headlight lens on one headlight. We do not have the headlight lens on this headlight. Reason for that is when I opened it out of the package, there's a about 3.5 inch, 4 inch crack in the lens. So this one's gonna have to wait till we get new lenses. This one is obviously finished. I didn't film putting the lenses on just because it was very fast paced. You kind of have to do everything pretty quick. So the stuff I used is this right here, the butyl headlamp sealant from Diode Dynamics. I'll link that in the description. But this stuff is basically kind of like a putty. It's pretty malleable, and there's directions on the back for everything you have to do. So it's pretty self-explanatory. But what I did was I put it in the oven for 5 minutes on 200 degrees, and after that you peel it and you kind of stretch it a little bit and you mush it into this whole channel here. And once you complete that, you take the lens, and see, this is the part that goes inside. You basically just push the lens onto it and stick it right in the oven for 5 to 10 minutes at 250 degrees. And I only had mine in there for 5 minutes and it was ready to go. And I just clamped it around the edges, let it cool for about 30 minutes, and then you see some of the glue right here kind of poking out. It's still a little like mushy, but that's how the stuff kind of is. Another thing too is I took this reflector out, and behind this reflector, this piece is already gloss black, and then you just have these three little LED orange pods. They light up bright orange, and obviously I left these clear. I tried frosting the DRL, and this just didn't look good. I think it looks way better clear. So that's one headlight completed. This one is gonna have to wait. but we made really good progress today. Came out really nice. The sparkle really shines in this thing. It looks so good. So we got one headlight done, one headlight to go, and you know, it's pretty close to being finished.